Oh, hi.
Hi.
Sorry about, earlier. Pretending to be the headmaster. Stupid. Well, I'm guessing the size of your star sign. Not the size, I mean, Oh, God.
You just lost 2 inches. I'm looking for the key to a cupboard in room 17. Any ideas?
Bollocks!
Which room 17?
Fifth form are dreadful. They are disgusting, horrid, and very, very naughty.
What happened?
Listen, this is actually quite important.
A lot of extremely insolent staring, fidgeting, and chewing. But I've dealt with it, thank you. The rest of you can relax. Fifth form will be presenting no more problems.
What did you do?
I fired them.
You fired your class?
No, I fired all of fifth form. I was just so angry I went through the entire school and fired the lot of them. And I am expecting everybody's support on this.
Mr. Slatt, Amanda's just fired the whole 5th form again.
It's all right. They know what to do. We've given them an assembly point round the back. Right, everybody, listen for a moment.
I just get no support from this staff whatsoever.
Dickhead! What's the matter? Miss Travis, this is Mr. Kirkdale. Obviously, you'll be seeing quite a lot of each other.
Why?
He's the head of English.
Great.
Right, everyone. Spot of sad news. Where's she going?
Oh, excuse me. I'm looking for someone.
Well, maybe you should speak to the secretary.
Problem, love?
Oh, I'm looking for Mr. Humphrey. I'm his neighbour. He didn't come home last night, and I'm a little bit worried. He hasn't been keeping well.
No, quite.
Is he all right?
Well, not absolutely, no. Maybe you should speak to Mr. Slatt.
Oh, Mr. Slatt, it's for you.
Look, I know you've been waiting all morning, but I really have more important things to deal with right now than the water supply. For goodness sake, one drowned rodent.
I'm afraid I've got some rather bad news about dear old Mr. Humphrey.
Mr. Nixon? Mr. Nixon, just let me try and explain how this happened. I'm afraid it's a bit complex.
This all seems terribly real to you, doesn't it?
Well, it's about to get real for you, too. Mr. Nixon? Mr. Nixon?
Oh, dear.
This is impossible.
Perhaps he turned into a kind of magic mist and escaped under the door. I see. He's flying now, is he?
Mr.
Tell you what, then. We'll put some breadcrumbs on the windowsill, and next time he's swooping by, maybe he'll pop down and nibble a few. Then we can grab him.
You could just for once listen.
Mr. Slatt?
Oh, what now? Yes, what? Yes.
Your secretary said I could talk to you.
What now?
I just don't know how this could have happened.
Honestly, my dead rat in a tank. Just a minute.
Just lying there all that time, dead.
Yes, I know. A small oversight on the part of the cleaning staff.
What?
They're terribly sorry about the whole thing.
Mr. Slatt, I want to know how he died.
Well, he drowned.
Drowned?
Well, obviously. Frankly, I'm rather surprised you're quite so interested. Does it matter? I mean, surely the main thing is he's no longer poisoning the pupils' water supply. I mean, I appreciate it was our fault. We should have noticed he was missing from the science department.
But why was he in the science department?
Well, I don't know precisely. I imagine they were doing kind of experiments on him.
What kind of place is this?
I'm sorry.
Oh!
I...
Oh! Oh!
Curious woman. Well, let's get your predecessor out of the way, and then I expect you'll be looking forward to taking your first class.
So, how was your first day?
Kids were fine. Shame about the teachers.
Well, look on the bright side. Every working day, the rest of your teaching career gets shorter.
What does that remind you of?
Really tough to talk to.
Yeah, but worth it in the end.
You reckon?
No, but you do.
Miss Travis! You don't mind if I walk you to your car, do you?
Would it matter if I did?
It is one thing for you to have a series of lunatic fantasies about the whereabouts of the headmaster, but to spread them among the children.
Children?
Well, let's start with the morning, shall we? When one child claims to have seen the headmaster crawling along a ledge on the back wall of the school. Then the lunch hour, when 4 children say they saw the headmaster clinging to a drain pipe on the 4th floor.
He climbed out of the window. It was open, remember?
Yeah, during the afternoon break, 2 of the senior prefects insist the headmaster was hanging from a guttering just outside the art rooms.
He climbed out and he couldn't get back in.
Oh, and only 2 minutes ago, a first-year girl tells me she saw Mr. Nixon fall past the geography class window.
Fall?
This nonsense has gone far enough.
Look, have you actually seen Mr. Nixon today?
The fact that I do not see Mr. Nixon in the course of a working day does not usually lead me to conclude that he's outside climbing the school.
But if he's fallen...
He's not fallen anywhere. Look around you. Do you see any sign of plummeting headmaster?
He could be hiding.
And why, pray, would he be doing that?
Because he's been stuck in a cupboard with a corpse. And he's convinced his deputy head is a homicidal maniac. And having spent the day dicing with death as a human fly, it's just possible he may not be at his most rational.
I'm sorry?
That's him. That's who I was talking to. These are some friends of Mr. Humphrey's.
Look, we had a bit of a misunderstanding earlier on. We were talking at cross purposes. But I assure you, I can explain absolutely everything.
Please, don't kill me.
Well, go on, then.
Right then, settle down, be quiet. As some of you may know, Mr. Humphrey of the English department has died, which is, of course, terribly sad. I'm confident, however, that our school will struggle on past this tragic incident as if absolutely nothing had happened of any consequence whatsoever and forget about the whole thing. I know that Belfast High will carry on down the fast track to academic excellence exactly as it did before and exactly as Mr. Humphrey would have wanted. Perhaps we might even go that little bit faster with one less on board. In fact, quite honestly, to look on the bright side of this whole sorry occasion, if I'd had to choose a member of staff to die, I'd have chosen Mr. Humphrey. Not, of course, that I've given the matter any thought. I mean, I don't have any kind of death list. That's just all a lot of silly talk based on what was, after all, a confidential memo. Anyway, on a personal note, I've had a lot of people over the last couple of days complaining that Mr. Humphrey was nothing but a hopelessly incompetent, incredibly fat, malingering old duffer. Well, what I say to these people is, he's been well punished for it. Not that his death was any form of official punishment, I can assure you of that. I didn't kill Mr. Humphrey. That's no part of my duties here. No. If anyone punished him for the generally low standard of his work, it was our Lord. Although, obviously, I'm not suggesting that God is stalking the corridors of Belfast High, killing inefficient teachers. Though perhaps if I was in the art department, I wouldn't be so confident. I'll say no more. Anyway, Mr. Humphrey will be buried on the 15th.
Cremated.
Not all of him. We'll be there all day.